The style we're using today is called the American style Nunchaku. The style has been sanctioned by the United States Martial Arts Association as a new weapon style. The style has proven itself a winner in tournament weapons competitions and in self-defense situations. My goal today is to teach you all of the basic techniques you need to master the style. We'll be right back. What I want you to do is to get your nunchakus out so we can work out together. I want you to use a lightweight pair, plastic foam, anything easy to swing. We don't want to be macho today. We simply want to get a feel for the rhythm of the techniques. If possible, narrow your cord between the two sticks to 2 inches or less. They'll be easier to swing that way. And later in the video, I'll talk about the best nunchakus to use for the style and where to get them. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is simply grip the nunchaku. Now, if you came up to me and I would shake your hands with the right hand, I'd put my hand out like that. And that's what we're going to do today. As you can see, and I'm going to move to the side so you can see the grip. And Bob, if you can get a close-up of that grip. We'll be gripping the nunchaku about midway up, not at the bottom and not at the top, but right in the middle. We'll have more control that way. So this is the grip we're going to be using today. Now, the first move we're going to do, and today as we're working out, I'm going to use a couple of stances. Like this is a left leg forward stance. And of course, this would be a right leg forward stance. And of course, this will be a horse stance. The idea is, I want you to get a feel for these stances because you'll use them later in some of the forms. We're going to start off with a left leg forward stance. And the first thing we're going to do after we've gripped the chuck is called the simple up. And all I'm going to do here is lift the chuck up over my shoulder and catch it with my left hand. Okay, this is pretty easy. So let's do a couple of those. Ready? Just lift it up and back. Up and back. Up and back. We're just catching it with the left hand. Great. That's called the simple up. The next move we're going to do is called the inward figure 8 block. And it looks like this. From under the arm, the right arm, the chuck's going to drop out and pull back toward me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a figure 8 pattern. And notice what I'm doing. I'm using my wrist to swing the nunchaku, and I'm not using my arm hardly at all. This is called the inward figure 8 block. Okay, so here's how we want to do it. You see the loose part dangling there? Watch. If I lift up on my arm, the chuck's going to do what? It's going to come right back to me. So watch. I just lift up. It's going to come back toward me. It's inward figure 8. So again, the dangling part there, if I lift up, the chuck's going to come back to my body. And what I'm trying to do here is to move it from side to side using my wrist, and again, my wrist, not my arm. Okay? So, to practice it, just let it dangle down, lift your arm up, and the chuck will come back towards you. Now, when the chuck is on the inside part of the swing plane, and at the bottom, we're just going to lift it up just like we did on the simple up. Okay, so let's let it dangle. Lift your arm up, the chuck will come back towards you. When you want to bring it up, you want to bring it up when it's on the inside and bottom of the swing plane. We just pull it right up, like the simple up. Okay, from this angle, watch. I'm going to drop it out from under my arm. You see it? I'm going to lift my arm up and it's going to come right back at me. And when the chuck is on the inside, bottom, I'm going to lift it up. Simple up. One time from this side. Watch. I'm just going to drop it out from under my arm. You see it? I'm going to lift my arm up and the chuck will come back at me. When I want to bring it up, I'll wait for it to be on the inside part of the swing and at the bottom, and I'll lift it up like the simple up. Now, the inward figure 8 block, you speed it up a little. You see, the block is designed to, if someone's coming at you with a punch or a kick or trying to get right up on you, this block will keep them off. This is called the inward figure 8 block. Okay, and it also will set up some strikes that we'll do next. Now, the next technique is called the outward figure 8 strike. From this position, watch. I'm simply going to lift the chuck up, throw it out across my body, doing a figure 8 to the outside. Okay, and then I'm going to bring it back. So it looks like this. All right, one more time. Lift up and out. Now, how do you do that? Okay, watch. Take the loose part and dangle it to the right. Okay? You see the loose part? What I'm going to do is I'm assuming that I'm swinging out here and I want to bring it back. When the chuck is on the outside part of the swing plane, that last loop over, I'm going to pull my arm in and it'll pop right under my arm. So to practice this, you see that loose part? It's going to go over top and under the arm. Now, let me turn around. You can see what I'm doing from this angle. You see the loose part dangling there? I'm going to let it go around here and go under my arm. So when I'm throwing this outward figure eight, when the chuck is on the outside part of the swing, the last rotation over, I'm going to pull my arm in, and it will go right under the arm. So it looks like this again. You'll start your pull under the arm from the outside, so just let it dangle, let it loop over, and pull your arm in to practice it. And then, to do it, you're going to use your wrist again, not your arm. You see, it's all wrist. When I want to bring it under my arm, I wait for that chuck to be on the outside. And that last loop over, I'll pull my arm in and let it go. It pops right under the arm, pretty easy. This is the outward figure eight strike. So what we have here is the inward block and the outward strike. Okay, not too hard so far. The next technique we're going to do is called the front strike. And here's how it works. Again, from under the right arm, I'm going to pull that chuck straight out. And then I'm going to flick my wrist over to the left. I'm going to leave this arm up so I don't hurt myself. So it looks like this. Straight out and across. Straight out and across. The wrist breaks and the chuck's going to go back behind my body. This is called the front strike. And from under the right arm, it looks like this. Leave this arm up. Nice and easy. Straight out and across. From the side, it looks like this. Straight out and across. From this side, it looks like this. Straight out and across. Okay, that's called the front strike. So what do we have so far? From under the arm, we have the inward figure eight block. Inside bottom, we're going to pull it up. Outward figure eight strike. Outside part of the swing plane, I want to bring it back. I'll pull my arm in, let that last rotation go under my arm. And then we got the front strike. Okay? Those are your first three techniques. The next technique is called the side swing. It looks like this. Watch. Up. Lift the chuck. I'm going to do 1.5 rotations out here and bring it under my arm. So I'm going to lift it up. Watch. 1.5 rotations. To practice this, hold it out to the side and let it dangle. See the loose part? Let it come over and under the arm. Again, over and under. Now, here's how you do it. You lift it. You do one full rotation and the other half just pops right under. Watch. Up. 1.5 rotations. Now, this is important. The outward figure eight strike is not the side swing. They're totally different. This is a side swing over here. See it? The outward figure eight strike is out in front. Great. So, here's what I want you to do. Before we go any further, I want to switch to the left hand and try these techniques. Okay, left hand. The first move here is called the simple up. We're simply going to lift over our shoulder. Okay, let's try it again. Ready? Up, over, up, over, up, over. The next technique, again, we just practiced it a second ago. The inward figure eight block. From under the arm, the chuck drops out. You lift your arm up, and you go side to side with the inward figure eight block. When the chuck is on the inside bottom area, we can pull that up also, just like on the right side.